If the answer to a question that we're creating should be something expressed in interval notation or an inequality, then we would want to select interval and then either numeric or calculated. I recommend calculated because it allows us a little bit, it allows us a greater range of answers. We can include mathematical expressions without variables, fractions. It also gives us the formatting bar for when we're entering our answers. Otherwise, these two options are pretty similar. By default, the answer that will be expected for this calculated interval type of question will be something expressed in interval notation. But if we include the answer format option inequality, then that will change the question to now looking for an inequality statement as the solution to that answer. For questions like this, we can define the correct answer by putting our interval notation in a set of quotation marks and then typing our interval, say, from 2 to 4. We can use open intervals, we can use closed intervals, we can join multiple intervals together, and even have those go to negative infinity or positive infinity by using a lowercase oo or negative lowercase oo. If instead of two intervals being joined together with that use statement, if we had multiple correct answers, we could separate these intervals by commas, meaning that either of these two intervals would be accepted as the correct solution. And we also have the option to enter D&E for does not exist to represent the empty set. So if there is no interval solution or inequality solution to the problem that you created. We already talked about including that answer format inequality option. We could include that if we want students to enter their answers as an inequality instead of an interval. But other options that we can include here would be things like fraction, reduced fraction, and these are detailed again in the documentation. But if we want our answers to be in a specific format, we have that option. We also have the option to include list if we have multiple intervals that we want expressed separated by commas. And we can allow sloppy intervals. And this option would equate an interval like 2, 5 union 3, 7 with the interval 2, 7. So it would just allow either format, whether you require students to merge those two intervals together into a single statement or allow the two separate overlapping interval statements. Since we are using the calculated interval version of this question for this question type, when we go to enter our answer, we will see that question toolbar pop up, which will give us the option to include parentheses under basics. And if we click on the interval tab, then we'll see open brackets, closed brackets, and intervals with both sets of brackets, including the positive and negative infinity notation and that U symbol. So students have the option to point and click to create their intervals or to type in those values. And again, for infinities, 2 lowercase o's gets converted into that infinity symbol.